Everybody, we would like to welcome you to the first of two candidate forums sponsored by the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County and Access LaPorte County. My name is Drew White. I'm the Director of Operations for Access LaPorte County. We want to welcome everybody that is here in the LaPorte County complex, as well as those watching on Comcast Channel 97 and at our website, www.accesslaportecounty.org. This is an event that last year us at Access LaPorte County was hoping to partner with somebody, and that partner is the League of Women Voters, and we have worked together very well during last year's elections, and we also hope to replicate that and improve upon last year. One thing that I want to really quickly do is everybody that is here and everybody that is running for office, I want to really quick kind of make a plea. If you have not received information on how to participate in vote411.org, please reach out to us at Access LaPorte County or the League of Women Voters. We want to make sure that this tool, which is very valuable, not just for the candidates, but also for voters, it is let's put it this way, it is a free platform for you to get your information out, to let the voters know about you before they go to the polls in May. And if you have any troubles accessing the website, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. One of our goals at Access LaPorte County is to try and get as high a participation as we can in vote411.org. When you answer the questions and fill out your profile, it is not edited, it is not changed in any way, it is your words. And we want to encourage everyone to participate in that. With all of that being said, again, we want to thank the county for hosting us this evening at the county complex, and I am going to turn it over to our moderator, Bonnie Schaff.
Thank you, Drew. My name is Bonnie Schaff, and I want to welcome all of you tonight, and thank you all for coming. I am the Voter Services Chair for the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County, and on behalf of the board, the membership, and our co-presidents, Regina Riddell and Karen Bernacki, welcome everyone tonight. Thank you, candidates, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience members, for coming. The League of Women Voters of LaPorte County is a nonpartisan organization which does not support or oppose any political parties or candidates. We encourage informed and active participation in government. We study and advocate for public policies. We reach out to the public with civic education programs and monthly lunch and dinner programs with community leaders speaking at the programs. We engage voters through candidate forums like this, through voter registration drives, and with our online voters guide, vote411.org. We welcome women and men who want to assure that democracy works for everyone. So be sure to check out our online voters guide, vote411.org. Here you can apply to register to vote. You can check your voter registration status, your polling place and directions to it, what to bring with you to when you come to vote, and how to apply for an absentee ballot. And you can also preview what's on your ballot at vote411.org. You can read the survey questions which the candidates have answered, and you can even line them up and compare their answers. If you find that some of the candidates on your ballot have not answered their Vote 411 survey, please encourage them to do so. Some important election dates coming up that you need to be aware of. This coming Monday, April 3rd, is the deadline for voter registration. Tuesday, April 4th, is the first day of early voting. Thursday, April 20th, is the deadline to submit your application to vote by mail, and Monday, May 1st at noon is the deadline to request to vote by the travel board. Early voting is available as of next Tuesday at 2 locations in LaPorte County. One here in LaPorte is at State Street Community Church at 209 State Street. It's also available early voting at 302 West 8th Street in Michigan City, corner of 8th and Wabash. And early voting will be available Monday through Friday, starting next Tuesday. It'll be available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Saturdays, April 22nd and the 29th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And on Monday, May 1st, 8 a.m. to noon. And Election Day, primary Election Day, is Tuesday, May 2nd, the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will also be a mobile voting unit that will be in use by the county for part of April. They haven't announced yet the date and schedule, but if you will check the LaPorte County website, election board web page, they'll have the schedule printed there, included there as soon as they have it. Be sure to take your state-issued ID with you when you go to vote, or your passport or military ID. And in case you're turned away and not allowed to vote, we suggest you contact the Election Protection Hotline at 866-OUR-VOTE. That is not a league program, but it is something that we are aware of and do recommend. But just make sure that you do vote. By voting, you participate in the democratic process. The right to vote is the most enshrined right in the Constitution and is protected by 5 different amendments. Whatever you do, make sure you vote. So we want to turn now to the candidates and thank each and every one of you for coming tonight, and the ones that are coming up here a little bit later. The rules for this forum are as follows. The moderator, that's myself, and the screeners sitting here behind me will determine the order of the presentations. Candidates will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question from the audience, and 1 minute for closing remarks. In the interest of time, the number of questions for the candidate might be limited. A candidate who is unopposed or whose opponent is not present will still be allowed to answer questions. The timer sitting in the front row here will hold up a yellow card as a 15-second warning when your time is almost done, and a red card when the candidate's time is up and you need to finish your statement or your sentence. Only written questions screened by the League's Voter Services Committee will be accepted. These are our screeners here. Press releases about this forum invited members of the public to submit written questions in advance by sending them to our email address, and we did receive several questions, and we also ask for and accept questions from the audience. So if you have a question, please hold up your hand and someone will give you an index card and a pencil to write your question on, starting now and through when the candidates are speaking to and answering questions. You can still write out questions if you have them. The League expects courtesy to be shown to everyone. The League will not allow personal attacks, yelling, name-calling, or showing disrespect, and will interrupt or stop a candidate if needed while the clock is ticking. No outbursts or disruptions are allowed from the audience members, or they will be asked to leave. Please remember this is a forum and not a debate. No visual aids will be permitted, and candidates may not display any campaign materials here tonight. So audience members, please submit your questions at any time. This forum tonight is for the City of LaPorte municipal candidates, and we will begin with 2 of our candidates who are up here, Larry Pinkerton and Laura Konechny are both running on the Republican ticket for City Council 5th Ward. There is one other Democratic candidate also running for Fifth Ward, but that individual is not here tonight. So we will begin with a 2-minute opening statement from Laura Konechny, please.
Well, good evening. Before I proceed, first of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters, as well as Access LaPorte County, for organizing and broadcasting this event. My name is Laura Konechny, and I currently serve as the councilwoman for the 5th Ward of the city of LaPorte. I won the caucus back in November of 2020. Filling a vacancy midterm during a raging pandemic definitely came with challenges. However, I hit the ground running. In my opinion, I think the city has made great strides over the past 3 years working towards progress, but there's more work to do. In my next term, I have 4 priorities. The first one is public safety. I feel it's imperative that we arm our first responders with tools, resources, and knowledge in order to serve and protect not only our residents, but themselves as well. Priority 2, continuation of infrastructure improvements. At the beginning of this administration, we pledged $50 million towards future improvements to upgrading and updating our infrastructure. Upon completion of the Monroe Manor Sewer Separation Project, we will now transition over to much relief for the 5th Ward in the letter and number streets. Priority number 3, housing remains, has been, and will continue to be a major priority. I've been an active member of the HFL working group that has identified housing needs across the board in our community. Now the real work begins as we dig deeper to find creative and sustainable solutions for all. My 4th priority is mental health awareness and opioid addiction. There's no doubt that there's a huge void amongst our community and our nation as a whole when it comes to mental health awareness and substance abuse help. With the impending opioid settlement coming through, I think it's imperative that the city uses its funds wisely to make the greatest impact. Finally, I'd like to introduce you to my reason why. Why serve? The answer is simple. My husband Adam and I have 2 small children, Axel and Arya. I'm a local realtor, and my husband is a small business owner here in LaPorte. I'm vested in making LaPorte the best place it can be. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. And Larry Pinkerton, Republican candidate, also for 5th Ward, you may give your 2-minute opening statement.
I want to thank you all for letting us come and speak tonight. I was born and raised here in LaPorte. I love this city, and I've been an elder in my church for 20 years. I served 12 years on the Police Merit Commission. I love to serve the people of the city of LaPorte. I spent 10 years on the Mayor's Veterans Committee, and I spent 25 years in the NIPSCO, working for NIPSCO as a supervisor. I worked in the unions. I know what work is all about. I know that the infrastructure in the city needs repair. I'm glad that they're finally splitting the sewers so that all that excess water doesn't run into the sewers, into the water treatment plants. The housing crunch is a big problem. I noticed that we need to make income housing for the lower income, the middle income, and then the higher level income, the people for. And also, there is a problem in LaPorte with drugs, and there needs to be a more emphasis on that. There is that the people need to be trained in LaPorte, because I've heard that some of the companies don't want to come into the LaPorte area because they know that the staffing is not proficient. And so we need to work at that. And I have served 22 years in the military, and that gives me some background on stability and honesty and integrity. And when I'm elected, I will do everything I can to help the people of LaPorte fix the things that need fixing, and it would sure be a privilege and an honor to serve the city of LaPorte. Thank you.
Thank you. And a question for you, Laura. What are your major qualifications for your office?
So I believe that my major qualifications consist of 25 plus years of managerial experience, both in the public and private sector, in conjunction with my past experience as a council person with a demonstrated record of progress Between that, communication skills, the ability to show up, not just to show up, but to put in the work to make a difference.
Okay, thank you. And Larry Pinkerton, what differentiates you from other candidates?
Well, for one, I was born and raised here. I have a very, very deep interest in the city of LaPorte, and I have the knowledge of accounting, and I got a commission from the state of Indiana as an officer, which helps me to understand things going on. And I spent a lot of time in supervision with NIPSCO for 35 years. And I believe that I have the qualifications to carry on the Fifth Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and for the next question, we'll begin with Larry Pinkerton. What are your plans for a bypass?
You were talking about the truck bypass?
Yes.
I really don't think we really need another bypass. That's why we built Boyd Boulevard. And I believe this bypass would cost the people in the county $100 million or plus or more. And if they need to add to the truck bypass, there's Seavers Road that could be converted for that also. So I think we need to really think about that, because that will drive your taxes up too. So LaPorte has to come up with a 20% add with that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Laura Konechny, the same question. What are your plans for a bypass?
So the plans for the bypass are definitely needed. The truck traffic downtown has impeded the ability for people to work and recreate freely and safely. With that being said, whether the diversion off of Lincoln Way and downtown is imperative, I think the most recent study and projection on scaling it back with future opportunities to increase it and develop it further down the road makes a lot of sense. So I'm a supporter of that. That is correct.
Okay, thank you. And the next question will begin with Laura Konechny. What would you do to increase availability of affordable housing?
Well, that's a great question. So as I alluded to in my opening statement, I've been working closely with a working group that has been in conjunction between the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte and the City of LaPorte. Studies show that there's a need for housing of all levels. With that being said, we're exploring creative options as far as land banks or land leases. Also, looking for potential developers and other economic tools to entice people or developers to come in to provide us with such product.
Okay, thank you. And final question for both of you, and we'll begin this time with Laura. Please explain the need for the annexation of the 39th North District, and how will it impact current LaPorte citizens?
So at this time, I'd like to refer to or defer to legal counsel on that. I have personal opinions, but at this point in time, it's still a work in process.
Okay. And Mr. Pinkerton, please explain the need for the annexation of the 39th North District. How will it impact the current LaPorte citizens?
Well, the 39 North Corridor, that needs to be looked at quite deeply. The people of that up there that will be affected by that, I believe there will have to be a tax increase to help pay for that. But I'd like to dig into that a lot more myself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Larry Pinkerton, did I forget to ask you the question about affordable housing?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. Well, you get another chance then. What would you do to increase availability of affordable housing?
Well, for one thing, there has to be money available for that. And if the state could be brought in to maybe help get some grants for the housing being built, I know that housing supplies are in short supply, and I believe that LaPorte would be a great place if we can get some affordable housing for people to move in here and have a place to live. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you both very much for your answers. And we'll begin now with Larry Pinkerton. You may give your 1 minute final statement, up to 1 minute long.
Thank you. When I get elected as the 5th Ward, I will do everything in my power to take care of the people of LaPorte, because the people of LaPorte is their city, and they should be able to hear what's going on before it gets to the newspaper. I think that the radio station could be used more to get the information out to the people. And this is a wonderful city, a great city, and I think people would really love to come here because they'll know what's going on and how LaPorte is growing. Thank you.
Thank you. And Laura Konechny, you may give your 1 minute final statement.
Well, it's been an absolute honor representing the citizens of the 5th Ward, but the citizens of the city as a whole. Again, as I stated, I believe that we've made some very fantastic progress, opening up opportunities for growth in the future. I'd like to continue the work that I've started and it's really fortify LaPorte, the place to be, not only now, but in the future, and for our children to come back to as well. So I would be honored for to receive your vote come May 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Laura and Larry, you may now be seated again in the audience if you wish to, or you can stay there, but no more questions for you tonight. And if anyone in the audience has questions to write out, please raise your hand. And now we're going ahead with the 3 candidates for the City of LaPorte Common Council at large. And I understand that the voters will vote for 2. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And all 3 candidates are running on the Republican ticket, and they are alphabetically Timothy Franke, Lauren Huffman, and Evan Wooding. And thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
We will now hear a 2 minute opening statement from each candidate, beginning with Timothy Franke.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting this on. I think it's extremely important and a powerful medium for people to hear who we are and what we stand for. My name is Tim Franke. I'm the president of the City Council currently. I took office in 2020 and have served as the president since then. Going into it, nobody saw a pandemic knocking on our door, but that was our first obstacle and quite a big one to pivot through, but I'm confident that we've come out stronger. And I'd like to say it takes a team to get things done, and I think the City of LaPorte has a fantastic team, both on the council and as employees as well, and it's been a pleasure to work with everybody. But I'm passionate about seeing LaPorte thrive, and I have 3 areas that I really prioritize: improving infrastructure, attracting businesses, and improving the quality of life. As Councilwoman Konechny mentioned, improving infrastructure is a top priority, and we've dedicated $50 million towards our wastewater and water lines. We have about $50 million more to go. We have the 2nd oldest water system in the state, and none of us want to be the next Flint, Michigan. So we're making sure that that doesn't happen and being proactive rather than waiting for things to break. I'll continue to ensure that our roads are kept up as well as possible given our budget, and our sidewalks are also something that I prioritize and find important. We've added a lot of new sidewalks and trail infrastructure, and I think that the public has a new mode of transportation, not only for personal and fun, but also, and I know quite a few people who use it to commute to work, and I love it. But my commitment to LaPorte is to ensure that it's the place to be, and I look forward to continuing my work, and I hope to get your vote.
Thank you very much, Tim. And next is Lauren Huffman, Republican candidate for at-large City Council.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I would like to thank all of you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I appreciate being given the chance to introduce myself to all of you. My name is Lauren Huffman, and I'm running for a LaPorte City Council at-large seat. I've lived in LaPorte for almost 5 years, but I'm from Northwest Indiana. Not only do I live in LaPorte with my husband and my 6-year-old daughter, Charlotte, but I also work at INDOT on Boyd Boulevard, and my daughter attends school here. I have worked for the state of Indiana for 17 years, which I know seems impossible because I'm so young, but 6 of those were at INDOT and 11 with the Department of Corrections. So to say that I know a little bit about government is probably a good statement. Why should you vote for me? I am who I am. I'm moderately conservative and unapologetically pro-life. With my Department of Corrections background, I am vehemently supportive of our police and our emergency services. I've shared some ideas with our current City Council members and have spoken with our police chief regarding the safety of our children in our community. Anything that will protect our citizens, our families, and our children, I am for. Speaking of family and children, our kids are one of my top priorities. I want to work towards making LaPorte safer for our children to live, play, and go to school. I want to see our kids freely riding bikes, playing in our parks, and enjoying all of the beautiful natural resources that LaPorte has to offer. Another thing I am passionate about in LaPorte is our code enforcement. I think that the code enforcement and street department has done a fantastic job at removing condemned, empty problem homes, cleaning up rubbish from our streets, and providing the dumpster program to all LaPorte residents. In addition to the goals I just mentioned, I want to ensure LaPorte is a place of fun. I have been asked by Brett Benversi, Director of the Civic and Events, to be a part of the committee that helps plan some of my favorite events, like the Sunflower Fest, the La Stitch Downtown Evenings, and the Santa Parade. I plan to do all I can to make LaPorte a safe, fun environment for my family and yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Evan Wooding, Republican candidate for at-large City Council.
Thank you for having me. My name is Evan D. Wooding, and I'm running for City Council at large for the City of LaPorte. LaPorte County has been my home since birth, and it made perfect sense to choose this great town as my adult home and workplace. My whole academic career and background has been within LaPorte County. It was important to me to stay local when choosing a college. I went to PNC, PNW now, for business and graduated honorably with my cosmetology license from the A.K. Smith Career Center LaPorte County Vocational Program. High school students in this program have the opportunity to graduate LaPorte High School with a certification or license in the trade or profession that they choose. We need to support more of our local school programming and support trade schools. It means a lot in my heart to be LaPorte County born and raised. Being LaPorte proud is what it's all about. LaPorte High School is where I graduated in 2010. I had the honor to be elected Vice President of the Student Council. Being a resident with this up-and-coming city is a great honor. One of my favorite memories was being a member of the former JCs of LaPorte for 3 years. On my off time, you can find me within the community. I love helping the Center Township Trustee's office when they need extra hands within our town. Helping people be the best that they can be is my heart. I'm an educator with a beauty brand, and double as a stylist and shareholder owner at Hair Fitness Salon, where I've been employed for 12 years. My focus, if elected, will be on more local jobs, more affordable housing for all, support for residents with disabilities, and better roads within the city of LaPorte. Another focus would be in introducing a scholarship program for local students that would like to be part of our local government. My heart is for the residents of LaPorte. My vow is to work well with both sides of both parties to make LaPorte a great place for everyone. We desperately need more young people to step up in local and LaPorte government. I am proud to be a LaPortean all of my life. Being one of the youngest candidates for the city election is a huge honor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. And now for the first question, we'll begin with Evan Wooding, since you were the last for the opening statement. And question is, what differentiates you from other candidates?
I would say my age. I have zeal and zest, and I've been here my whole life. LaPorte is who I am about, and I'm dedicated to being the voice of the people of our beautiful city.
Okay, thank you. And the same question, Tim Frankie. What differentiates you from other candidates?
Well, I think experience would be a big one. I've been serving for 3.5 years now, but aside from that, I come from a business background. I'm a small business owner, and I think it's important to treat our local government like a business. Especially on the council, our main function is to oversee the budget and be smart with that money, and being analytical and making good decisions with that money is a key factor to what we do.
Thank you. And Lauren Huffman, what differentiates you from other candidates?
Sure. As I mentioned, I've been in government for over 17 years. Within my work at NDOT, I've worked with a lot of local officials in LaPorte to make LaPorte better from the state side. So I feel like I could bring that knowledge and experience to make LaPorte better from the city side.
Okay. For the next question, it'll be the same question for all three of you. And we'll begin with Lauren Huffman this time. What would you do to increase availability of affordable housing?
If elected to the council, I would work with the council members, local housing authorities, the mayor, and anyone else who could help get this ball rolling to get affordable housing in LaPorte so that people can come here, live, work, and enjoy everything we have to offer.
Thank you. And Tim Frankie, what would you do to increase availability of affordable housing?
Well, that's something we're working on currently, and this year you'll see the old Timma Bakery site being built up into some affordable housing units. We've also seen from some of the recent studies that there's a squeeze on a lot of the affordable housing that we currently have because people residing there can easily afford to have less affordable home, but there aren't any other options. So we're working on property at Beechwood with 54 acres to get that developed into additional properties. Also this year along 18th and A, there will be some condos being constructed. I think, we need to look at what available land is there and attract developers and figure out how do we better build for our community, and that's something that we have been doing and something I'll continue to do.
Okay, thank you. And Evan Wooding.
Thank you. If elected, I can't wait to work with the mayor and the administration to get more land assessments and more developers as we grow LaPorte, and as the current administration is growing LaPorte, and they're doing a great job. We have a lot of excitement downtown. We have more restaurants. That's going to attract more people, and we have to focus on housing also. So again, more assessments. They're already doing them, but more assessments, and then also just being a team player and fulfilling the plan that they've already had before them.
Okay, thank you. Next question will be the same one for all three of you. What are your plans for a bypass? And we'll begin this time with Tim Frankie.
So I think there's an absolute need for a corridor through downtown. Specifically, my business was located on Lincoln Way, and we recently moved that because we do a lot of video work. We weren't able to do that because of the noise, because of the building shaking. I also have 3 small children that I don't feel comfortable taking downtown. I don't trust my kids, even though I teach them. They're still very young. And I also don't trust drivers. And there's just too much congestion as it is. So we need to figure out how we can better use our downtown to make it more enjoyable and inviting for people. So I think we have to have an alternative route. There is a lot of federal money available right now through President Biden's infrastructure plan, and the state has also communicated that they're open and willing to contribute to projects like these. So I would plan to continue pursuing this effort.
Thank you. And Lauren Huffman, same question.
Thank you. I can only speak from what I know. Being employed at NDOT and the things that I've seen happen downtown because of truck traffic. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, but the light at Pine Lake Bridge, and 2 was ripped down by a semi trying to make an illegal right-hand turn at that time, which then backed up traffic, impacted everyone trying to get home, go to work, so on and so forth. I've also worked with the director of the street department to put up truck route signs. I don't know if any of you have noticed them on State Road 2 in Boston, trying to reroute the trucks out to Seavers Road instead of having them go downtown. So I will be interested to see what sort of effect that has on our downtown area. So I cannot say if I am for or against it at this time. I just have to see what time will tell with the reroutes that we've done.
Okay, thank you. And Evan.
Thank you. We have a beautiful downtown. Truck traffic, is an issue. If you've eaten downtown, eaten out at one of our beautiful restaurants, or have tried to work on the sidewalks, or just have a conversation waiting on a stoplight to turn green, there's an issue with a lot of traffic, and I'm willing to be a team player and work with the administration, if elected, to help that and see what other areas we can do research in. There are other ways we can go about it, but there are plans in place, and I'm willing to work with what the plans are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and the final question, and this will be for all 3 of you again, just reworded a little bit from our candidates earlier tonight. Do you see a need for the annexation of the 39th North District, and if so, how will it impact the current LaPorte citizens? And we'll begin with you, Evan.
Like all we know, there are pros and cons to everything. I think it will benefit the city. You can't make everyone happy, and again, I would work with their current administration, and if elected, work with what they have planned already.
Okay, and Lauren Huffman?
I do not have all the information on that plan. However, from what I do know, that is something that I feel I would support. If the 39 North annexation provides LaPorte services such as water, fire, police to the folks that live out there, I think that would be a fantastic thing.
Okay, thank you. And Tim?
So what we do know is that 39 North has an absolute need for a water tower, and as it stands right now, if there was a fire and firefighters have to tap into a line from that point beyond, they're going to have a lack of water. And, say there was a massive fire at one of the manufacturers there, it would be tough to combat as it stands. We're estimating around $10 million to fix their needs, and I do not think the city of LaPorte taxpayers should be on the hook for that bill. So, I, from that standpoint, support annexation unless, another option is brought to the table.
Okay. Thank you all. And if there are no further questions from the audience, we'll go ahead with closing statements. And we'll begin Timothy Frankie with your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you. And again, thanks for putting this on. But it's been a pleasure to serve the people of the city of LaPorte, and I hope to continue that. I think we've accomplished a lot in the last 3.5 years, and I'm proud of that work, and I'll stand by it. If anyone wants to talk to me about anything, I'm always open and available. But I hope to continue this work and hope for your votes. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lauren Huffman, your closing.
Thank you. I again thank you for the opportunity to be here and share my vision with all of you. For those of you that don't know, LaPorte means the door. But the door to what? Our beautiful lakes, our parks, our amazing downtown that has wonderful events. That's what I want to ensure continues if I'm elected for the next seat in LaPorte City Council. Let's keep LaPorte great. Thank you for your time, and I hope for your support on May 2nd.
Thank you. And Evan Wooding, your closing.
Thank you for having me. LaPorte City is my town, and I want to keep making it better. And I am willing to work, if elected, keep working, to be a team player, well-rounded individual in our community, and work with what we already have planned and just increase the positivity around the community and make LaPorte an amazing place to be and continue it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, all 3 of you, for coming here tonight and answering these questions.
Thank you.
sharing your views with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, yes.
It's gonna shake your hand.
Okay, next we have Courtney Parthun. Is that correct? Republican candidate for the City of LaPorte Clerk Treasurer. And Courtney is running unopposed in the primary. So welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And you can begin with your 2-minute opening statement, please. Courtney Parthun.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll be brief. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Courtney Parthun. I'm running for Clerk Treasurer. I'm currently honored to be serving City of LaPorte residents as Clerk Treasurer. My top priorities as Clerk Treasurer are first, to continue to prioritize structurally balanced budgets. Fiscal responsibility with taxpayer dollars is the most important role in the position of Clerk Treasurer, and I do take that very seriously. Secondly, continue running City of LaPorte like a business. Working interdepartmentally creates fiscal responsibility and sustainability. It's something I've focused on and will continue to do so moving forward. Third, continue to adapt and evolve, creating efficiencies and processes, implementing what's best to serve City of LaPorte residents. Some examples of that over the past 3 years would be the drive-thru at City Hall, helping connect City Hall with residents who formerly had no access to City Hall, as well as updating payment processing systems citywide. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and Access LaPorte County for this candidate forum to help educate and inform the public, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have 3 questions for you here. Please explain to voters the importance of the office for which you are running.
I over the past 3 years, I can tell you everything kind of trickles down to the Clerk Treasurer's office. So the audit, the annual report, budgets, it's kind of the, it's kind of the center of city government. I mean, when people ask questions or need answers or need really anything, they have to access some form of our office. So it is important, and I take that very seriously. I've been honored over the last 3 years to serve in that capacity, and I'm honored to continue to do so.
Thank you. What is the greatest challenge facing this city within the scope of your office, and how would you address it?
Money. I mean, as everyone knows, we what we receive from taxpayer dollars is what we want to be the most responsible with and do what's best for residents. So when I hear, I don't have a vote in the matter on a lot of these things. I don't have a vote in the matter, but finding ways to increase our assessed value, decrease our circuit breaker, these are all solutions to some of the biggest problems that we face, and that would be finding ways to support police and fire and do all of the things that we want to do, the priorities of the mayor and the council and what all of the residents vote for and put people in place for. Those are the things we're trying to find money for, to finance, to do the things that the residents need to see. So.
Okay, thank you. And one final question. How will you follow best practices expected in government for finances, and record keeping.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. How will I follow best practices?
Yeah.
Clerk treasurers are required continuing education, and me and my office staff, we all follow what is mandated by the state. State Board of Accounts puts on monthly kind of learning sessions. I talk to other clerk treasurers. It's an interesting position, and one that I'm from the financial world, and I can say with certainty it's completely different than anything that I've ever done before. But there are people within the state or within other municipalities that are there to bounce questions off of, and City of LaPorte definitely takes advantage of all of those opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the audience? Okay. Well then, Courtney Parthun, you may now give your 1-minute closing statement.
I just want to thank League of Women Voters and Access LaPorte County for this opportunity. I ask for your vote on Election Day, and I look forward to continuing to serve City of LaPorte residents. Thank you very much for your time today.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now we have Republican candidate for mayor of LaPorte, Thomas Dermody. The Democratic candidate for mayor is not here tonight, but we will begin with an opening statement from Tom Dermody.
Well, thank you, and I do not have a primary, so I'll keep it brief. But Tom Dermody, mayor of the City of LaPorte. I love this town. I grew up here, and we did what we said we'd do on day one. And if you look at 701 Maple, cleaning up properties, the apartment complex across from the YMCA, #1, for 26 years that has been ignored. We dealt with it. Code enforcement has been a strong focus of mine, and our team is knocking on doors, setting a new standard for all those that have been taking advantage of our community for too long. Also, public safety, addressing the drug traffickers, and while it's very difficult, like every other community, every day our police, which are now up to 44 officers, and if you talk, we are starting to get more resumes. People want to come up with LaPorte, and we're coming up with some unique ways to be different that hopefully we'll announce by the end of this year that'll even bring more officers so we can aggressively be out there keeping our community safe. And then third, setting that new standard, no matter whether it's new housing, new production. We're not just taking all comers that want to be in the city of LaPorte looking for incentives, and we're going to continue to set that high standard for our residents every day in a second term.
Thank you. The first question that we have for you is not very specific, but
that's all right.
I hope you can answer it. Would you go forward with annexation?
Well, we've been working with 39 North. You know, the one thing we're doing are cleaning up issues, cleaning up problems. I'm not sure how people can ignore the fact that the infrastructure improvements are needed to keep people safe. Everyone has agreed on that, and we also can save money in property taxes for these residents and the water costs for these residents. 39 North Board did a great job 25 years ago to build a system that was meant for a few houses and maybe a business. Now it's grown. We're now prepared to fix that system as long as we're doing it for residents. So we look forward to working together, and I think that's why the businesses have been supportive and signed on the dotted line, and I think that's why residents are signing on the dotted line.
Okay, thank you. And next question, what are your plans for a bypass?
So corridor, economic development corridor, we can continue from 20 years ago and continue to ignore the problem that the city of LaPorte faces and watch the federal money go to every other community, every other county. And that's what I ask. When we look at the LaPorte County, what new roads have been built? Let's keep passing the buck and not have progress. That's why I'm so honored to have served with someone like Courtney Parthune, who is constantly looking for the money, and people like Laura Konechny and Tim Frankie, who are willing to make the tough vote and not just say we're status quo and this is why our population has remained at 22,000 and our kids don't come back home. We're going to give our children a reason to come home, and we need to find an alternative route for those trucks that don't want to be in our downtown, and so we can expand and enjoy a walkable area for our residents.
Thank you. And your final question, unless anyone has any questions, they're getting ready to write out. What would you do to increase availability of affordable housing?
We're working every day on affordable housing. The first thing that we had to do on day one, besides 701 Maple, but go around, set new expectations for landlords that have been taking advantage of this community for too long, and start saying, look, there aren't going to be bed bugs going through. We're not going to have drug dealing. We're not going to have trafficking. We're not going to have windows boarded up. And let's clean up what we have first. Now we're looking at affordable housing. We're looking at for individuals that are leaving homelessness and may have a physical or mental disability. We cannot ignore the problems that we face, and affordable housing is going to be an important part of that, working together. But we also need higher end housing, middle income housing, so there's enough for all. And that comes close to about 800 to 1,200 homes of all variables in our community.
Okay, thank you. And you may now make your closing statement, Mr. Dermody.
One thing I've been committed to is bringing the pride back to our community here in LaPorte that they had when I grew up here. Our residents, when I knocked on doors before the first term, said, we don't need status quo. We need to shake things up. LaPorte is not moving forward. I've done that. I've been accessible. I've been available. My cell phone number, 363-7293. And, we need people here that are willing to look into the future for our community and be willing to make tough decisions to clean up our LaPorte, set high standards, and not just accept status quo to be elected. And we are prepared to do that. And I'm excited for what the future holds with LaPorte.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. And we want to thank everyone who's here tonight for joining us tonight. This concludes the Candidates Forum, sponsored by League of Women Voters of LaPorte County and Access LaPorte County. Our next forum will be held tomorrow evening, March 30th at 7 p.m. at City Hall in Michigan City for the candidates for Michigan City municipal elections. We remind you again to look at our online voters guide, vote411.org. And please remember, democracy is not a spectator sport, so be sure to participate in our democracy by voting. We thank you all for coming here tonight. Good night. Thank you.